Greetings, YouTube. Chester here, music producer and composer for 45Y Music. Got another deep dive for you. Yesterday I bought Spitfire Solo Cello. It was on sale for $40. There was the spring sale going on. And I started using it, trying it out, and had a little buyer's remorse. But after spending a day with it and doing some research and some reviews on the library, I wanted to talk about this experience a little bit and this journey I kind of had and share it and just see how we can take these moments and learn from them and grow. So let's get started. Let's dive in. Okay, so I'm going to spend a few seconds on these sites and then we're going to dive into the DAW and see how we can kind of work with this library a little bit. But we'll start here with Spitfire Solo Cello. There will be a link in the description on this page and getting to it. Here where it starts out, it gives this opportunity to say the most advanced cello performance instrument. And I just don't agree with that. Spitfire is in a fantastic library. This is a pretty good instrument, but the most advanced cello performance instrument, I don't know if I agree with that. They have so many string libraries and they have so many opportunities to provide fantastic cellos. I'll actually demonstrate a few of them to prove this claim that I'm making. But yeah, anyways, it's great though. I'm not trying to downplay this at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm just kind of saying, I don't know. Maybe it used to be, but they've done some really cool stuff and they continue to. So don't sell yourself short, Spitfire. There's definitely some fantastic cello options that you provide us. In any case, feel free to read through this. You get virtuoso cello, 5 types of true legato. I don't know, maybe 3 mic options, and it's for the contact player, which I love that. And then some demos, some videos. Definitely check these out. They're very fast. You should be able to watch them pretty quickly. I didn't check these two out though, but I did see Paul Thompson's video, and it was pretty quick and very thorough. He was extremely thorough, and you get through the whole library pretty quickly with him. All right, and let's go down to the bottom here. They really fill this out. I'll show you the library, but wow, they fill this out. And then 3 mic positions. Here's tech specs. I always show these just to show you if you have this set up with your computer, you're going to be able to use the library. If not, reach out to the support team, talk to them. I'm not affiliated with Spitfire Audio. That's why I show tech specs, to make sure that I'm not sales. I'm not selling anyone anything. All right, file size. So 7 gigs ain't bad for one solo string. I'll kind of even show this with the contact one, the solo cello there. It's a lot bigger than 7 gigs. So then you need a contact player for this, and sounds good with these things. Here's another option for you. If $40 isn't enough and you're in the final event of this sale, so 40 minutes. Otherwise, we got to wait for the summer one or another sale that they have coming up. No worries. Really? Don't have FOMO on me. Because Cello Moods exists. And this is a free library, 24/7, 365. This is a really cool library. I did see it in my reviews and research for solo cello. So this is a great option for you. This is also Spitfire Audio. It's their Labs series. So you got to dive in a little bit, but get this. It's cool. It's really fun. You can watch this video and see more about it. We'll talk about it a little bit in the future, but great option for you. Here's solo strings. One of the reasons, and fortunate for me with buyer's remorse, is this is what I wanted all along anyways, was this library. And I'll explain why, and it won't take long. But I do get a nice discount for owning cello, so I'm very pleased in that, because I was eventually looking to get this anyways. And the reason why, and I'm not going to dive into this part too much, is because I really like this library. I use it all the time, alternative solo string. And it's unconventional string quartet, solo string quartet. You get the violin, viola, and cello, or do you get the bass? Let's look at it real quick to remind myself. Yeah, you get bass. Never mind. I'm sorry. So you get a violin, cello, viola, bass, and it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. We're gonna talk about it a little bit, but yeah, this is a great one. There's also cello in contemporary drama toolkit, an electric one, and then there might be a cello in British drama toolkit. I would have to look, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, we will have a deep dive on this one too. I just want to say I would get this because I always gravitate towards this library for a lot of purposes and when I need like a solo string instrument. And I really think this is a fantastic tool and I use it all the time. But there's just means sometimes for a traditional, conventional, just straight up the middle string piece or part. And that's where I thought solo strings might help me out, but it still can. And as I'm learning through this experience, there's a lot of ways to go now and a lot of opportunities. So let's dive into what that even means. All right, so we have solo cello here. I set up kind of an arpeggiator for fun if I kind of ever need to go in that direction. My faithful little velocity MIDI thing here with 10 random. Just give me some randomness as I'm playing. We have the contact instrument with UI. We'll go over that in a second. And then we have kind of some of my standards. I have an OTT, I have an EQ8, just doing some standard stuff. And then I did add this, and I add this to solo strings sometimes. I'm a huge fan of API. That's the console of choice for me. I've really gravitated towards the sound and how easy it is to kind of sculpt and find easy way to get a musical EQ on something. So that's all I'm doing here is just after I do my cuts, I get a nice little EQ here to shape the sound a little bit more. And the way that EQ shapes a cello is pretty fun. Then my gain staging. Cello kind of sounds like this. And without it. Nothing crazy there, just kind of showing how it sounds. And then I have set up my macros. So, OTT, low pass filter, gain. If you've ever seen any of my other videos, that's pretty standard. And then close mic, tree mic, and this mute on off feature for this solo cello. There's only one patch you get for this. You get just this. So I'm just kind of showing that, the total performance. And the idea behind this is all you really need, because you're going to use the way that you perform this instrument to get what you need from it. Let me demonstrate. So it's true legato pretty much the whole way. I can't hold a chord and get a chord. If I want to trill, I have to play it a certain way. If I want short notes, I have to play short notes. If I want long notes, I hold them. If I want mute, con sordino, turn it on. And that's the option up here. I just have it mapped. If I want pizzicato, this is vibrato. We'll kind of demonstrate what that all does. I have to turn that all the way down. If I want the Bartok sound, I have to play high velocity. If I want tremolo, I have to bump that vibrato up slightly. And then if I want a really melodic passage, you just crank your vibrato. And that's pretty much it. There might be some other ways of doing it. Again, Paul Thompson's video shows a really amazing demonstration of what this library can offer you. I have mapped the closed mic and the tree because of memory. I'm only really using two, and that's the thing about ambience, that mic, and almost always in any Spitfire library. If I want a wider stereo image, it's a great option. Drawback to that, or the trade-off, I'm going to increase memory. And if I have a really big template, that trade-off might not be worth it. If it's only this string library, then sure, I would probably blend in some ambience. Otherwise, I just use my utility plugin and turn up some width. So I only have the close mic and the tree set up here. And I said in my previous video that 90 to 95, maybe even 99% of the time I'm using the tree mic, and that's true. But the one application here I can show you is if I go to this pizzicato or the Bartok there, I'm going to turn the tree down and I'm going to turn the close mic up. That's more desirable for me, that sound. So this is the exception where I would definitely turn the tree down. But when I'm in this mode, where we're playing with the bow, I want that tree up. and a little bit of close mic. And that's pretty much the library. But let's go into some of these others just to demonstrate some learning opportunities and then also kind of what we have. One thing I'll note about the solo cello is it's going to do the job. It is. So if I need a solo cello to do some passages or play some melody lines, I think it's capable of doing that and doing a pretty good job once I've really learned it and understood kind of how to perform it. This Cremona cello, which comes with Complete 13. So if you're a Complete user, don't get FOMO on not having Spitfire audio because you kind of have a cello that will work just fine. This multi-mic cello, it's very similar. In fact, it's almost the same. There are slight differences. But this virtuoso patch that comes with it, it's kind of doing the same thing. You get a slightly different flavor of sound. Very close, but it does sound slightly different. And then if you use the multi-mic preset, you have a close mic, mid, and far option, and then you can start blending those how you need. Not to mention also, you can create, there's 4 pages. You can assign your own key switches with articulations, and I think that's a fantastic thing. Give you the power to kind of decide what you want to implement here. So in a lot of ways, I think that this one wins out on this Spitfire one. And here I've had it this whole entire time. I just never really looked into it. The one disadvantage that this has compared to the other one, a significant more amount of memory. It's doubled than what the solo cello kind of loads up. It's not a bad thing, but something to consider. So if I was on the road with my laptop, I think the Spitfire solo cello would win because I need that memory. It's just one thing to consider. It's not really the thing to consider, but one thing to consider. Both of them, their low ends, I thought were unusually kind of, there's not a lot of beef there. So you'd have to take care of that in some processing, but definitely doable. All right, now let's go to the fun here. So this moods patch that comes with labs, I had a lot of fun with this, and I think that you're going to get a similar result with this that you're going to get if you bought solo cello. With Christian Henson's video on how to use this library, he was mentioning kind of like playing 2 notes or playing notes in the chord of the patch that you're loading. So if I open up labs here, we look at cello moods, which is the instrument you download. You get quite a few patches here, and then you notice they're in keys: D minor, C, F sharp, G minor, for example. And I think we loaded a D minor preset. So I have the chord tool kind of playing a minor chord, minor 7th. I have my velocity patch, I always do. And then the other typical items, same thing as the other cellos. And then with labs, I've mapped a few kind of things here just to keep myself having fun with the sound as we play. But check this out. This library, in the same amount of time that I've spent with that Spitfire solo cello, is way better. It's more approachable. It's also lyrical and go the same distance. So that's where I was saying marketably the most total performance. I don't know. I don't really think so. I wouldn't agree. Another thing to this claim is I mentioned alternative solo strings. And so if I open up alternative solo strings, there's also a performance patch here. And I have 6 mic positions that go with this library. I also have tightness, release, and reverb, as well as dynamic and expression, which is very common. And so I can kind of play something and kind of get that same type of performance patch that we got in that other library. And the funny thing about that is I've had this too. I didn't even thing to realize that I already have a performance patch for a cello. Spending $40 wasn't a need at all. I just showed 4 or 3 other ways of getting the results I could use to be successful, and I already had them, or I had access to them with a free patch. Buyer's remorse, kinda. I think I was able to learn a lot though with this time that I've taken today to research the library. So with final thoughts here, and to kind of wrap up this video, it's not the end of the world if you buy a library and you're not going to use it, or it wasn't what you thought it was. This happens all the time. I used to be customer support for a sample library company about 10 years back. I heard it all. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about sample libraries is you buy them and they're yours. You can't really give them back because you bought the license. You didn't buy the library itself, right? It's a software. It's not a physical thing that we can hold in our hands and then return. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. If you did what I did yesterday and spent $40 on something you're probably not going to use very much. You already have those libraries and you've already bought them at one point. So I hope that this video is helpful for you. I hope that you learned something from it. I'm going to say though, I do think solo cello has a place in the market. I think there are other individuals that are going to need it much more than I do. Like I said, I have 3 libraries right here that have a solo cello that have performance capabilities. You might have 0. And then in this case, I would say $40 for that solo cello is a pretty darn good option for you. Not so much buyer remorse for that situation, but some of us, we might have 9 solo cello libraries. One of them might have costed $500. The Tina Gauss stuff, for example, I've always considered buying those 2 libraries. I don't need them, and I'm just realizing that now. I have a bunch of solo cellos, but would I buy it eventually for that certain job where someone specifically asked for it? Yeah, then I'd probably need it, right? So until that happens, I think I'm good. Like I said, I thought I would take this as a learning opportunity just to kind of jump on YouTube and show that it ain't all that bad. I mean, I didn't know, I'm not a Labs user, for example. I didn't know cello moods existed. I don't get libraries just because they're free. I get them because they're good and they serve a need when I need something like it. That's awesome, because I have a free opportunity to use something that was a need and I didn't have to expense or pay for it. Else I don't download those free libraries. They take up hard drive space. All right, it's a really nice day. I'm going to go outside and play in the yard with my dog. So we'll see you on the next YouTube video. Enjoy. Take care.